Welcome back, and this is Across Borders. I told you earlier we'll be having another guest, and sitting pretty here in the studio with me is someone we'll call Baba, because indeed he is Baba, and his name is Bayo Olaoye. He's a veteran journalist here with us at Soup News Television. It's a pleasure having you on the show this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Good morning. So today is the International Day for the Abolition of Slavery. And I want to ask, do you see this as a key thing? Is this something that we should focus on?
That is very true. We now have modern slavery in different ramifications. We have modern slavery in our health system. We have modern slavery in our political system. Modern slavery in our agricultural system. The essence of what I'm saying is that when you cling to a foreign culture, you cling to a foreign idea, you don't indigenize, you don't source locally, that is slavery. And that is what is happening now. I was going through the BBC this morning, and the Australian government is banning children under 16 from using phones. That is the extent of modern slavery. Some of our people are so addicted to the social media. And that is slavery. It's unbelievable.
So that is more like when you subject them to, more like crippling them, because the young ones, most of them, technology is what they deal with.
It's not really a distraction, but it kills productivity. It kills initiative. It kills hard work. That is why in some banks they don't want their staff to use a phone. Essentially, modern slavery has reared its ugly head in our lives, and government, parents are liable, and they must be in the forefront to combat these forms of slavery.
All right. So because you talked about the banning of technology, so in a way, I think it's a two-side thing if we look at it. I want to ask, don't you think to a large extent there are some very not so good influence that comes from using all of this technology, especially at a very young age, that should be caught?
Yes. I think we need to give our children, the upcoming ones, a kind of orientation where a child feels that anything Nigerian is not good enough, and everything foreign is admissible. We should reorientate our children to look inwards, Nigeria first, and the moral values that we have in the society, the traditional values, respect for elders, integrity, accountability, tolerance. These are issues, these are values that we should sustain in the society and not allow our children to be born into another kind of slavery.
When we're talking about modern slavery, we can put all of this together. The debt bond, someone is owing, because I mentioned that earlier, someone is owing a certain amount, and you feel, because he or she's owing, you need to do certain things for me. I see that as modern slavery. I don't know, I want you to speak to that. More also like in trafficking, trafficking, a whole lot of that.
Employers of labor are guilty also.
Forced labor, a whole lot of that, yes.
You employ people on contract, which means that you can hire and fire at your will. Underage children being used for transport,
and all of
for
that.
hawking. You have parents who are also into religious slavery, insisting that their children must practice their own form of religion, and in a very vigorous and very harmful way. You insist that your child must be what you are, and that is not. In the age of technology, we should allow our young ones to thrive.
Okay, I think I want to speak to that. You talk about religious slavery and that parents forcing their kids to do their religion. I think that kids to a certain age, where they are still under the leadership, the control of their parents, So when I say control, you know what I mean. Aha, under the guidance. Okay, I think that's a better word. Under the guidance of their parents, they instruct them, they guide them, they tell them what they feel it's right to do and that they should do. Do you think it is right at that point, even while they're still under the guidance of their parents, and they go ahead to decide what religion they want to become and all of that? So I wonder, when you say that's a slavery, I'm just thinking from my own end. What do you think?
I think these young ones are very impressionable. What they see, they react to what they see. And I think we parents too, we need to set good examples for our children. And in the schools too, some teachers don't behave well, and children ape this. And recently we were talking about the cost of private schools, and you can imagine the slavery and the mentality of parents who want to send their children to schools with high fees and with no depth in the educational value, no depth in the curriculum. I think that is slavery too. We parents should be very careful about the sentiments and emotions of our children, and we should allow them to free their minds.
Okay, so I want to ask you, are there stories or encounters that speak to psychological or emotional cost of modern slavery that you experience or that you have seen in a way? And how do you want to speak to it?
Well, there's a story, it's a popular story. And that story was told in Yoruba that the parents are fond of quarreling. And every time the wife calls the husband Olushi, names, with terrible names. And the child grew up with this notion, with this environment, with this quarreling. And when they asked her, Enugu asked her, what's your father's name? He said, my father's name is Olushi.
Oh,
That is slavery.
okay.
That is slavery. Slavery on the child. Because when parents are arguing or quarreling, they should think of the child who's listening to them. So we are all guilty. Slavery has reared its head, and we are not up to our responsibilities. Parents are not careful. They don't watch their children. All the schools want is just the school fees and whatever. The community, our politicians, they are not setting good examples. So we should avoid slavery to age-long ideas that don't matter anymore. For instance, our agriculture now, we cannot practice the indigenous and age-long practice of agriculture, and we resort to fertilizers, and that is slavery to a foreign notion.
You don't think that's like an innovation, that we're evolvement, like we are moving, we are evolving?
But we have to start from somewhere.
We
can't depend on the bulldozer or whatever, mechanized farming all the time. We'll start from these little things that mattered in those days.
Okay. So I don't take so much of your time. I think we're just going to call it a wrap, and I want to quickly ask you now. Today is the International Day of Abolition of Slavery. We want you to lend your voice, and most importantly, who are those key people that you feel should also be held responsible in charting this course, in driving this movement to ensure that maybe, yes, we are able to end slavery? Because I mentioned earlier, from what I have seen and research here and there, it's as good as saying that slavery did not end. It actually maybe ended on paper, but it's actually changed its language and its method. So we need key drivers. We need key people to be out there to say this and these are what to do. Who are those people? How should they go about it?
I'll put it at the doorstep of government. And you have an agency called National Orientation Agency. It should tighten its belt and look at the fabric of the society. We must continue to pursue values that have made countries great, that have made heroes of so many Nigerians. And the government must give it support, funding, so that it can give some form of orientation to this generation, these young ones coming up, so that they don't copy and imitate and ape foreign ideas and notions.
Okay, so just that I don't want to take you back. So, because when we're talking about the young ones, and I think it's very important to also talk about the elderly ones, because the young ones learn from them. And when you look at these core areas of slavery that we are talking about, it's just those ones that have the wisdom, that have that knowledge and understanding, that are the drivers, of these activities. So when you are talking about trafficking, we are not well. I agree with you, like you've mentioned earlier, that these young ones, they do what they see. I mean, yeah, that's what, it's what they see that they do. And if there is no proper reorientation and proper direction, they might end up more like these people that they have seen, or that they see every day, practice all of this act, the trafficking, the forced labor and all of that. So it is important. I agree with you, but I'm just also adding that not just child, but also adults. Everybody put together. In fact, if you ask me, I think I want to say even the NGOs, you, me, everybody, the government. Let's not just drop it at the table of the government to say, oh, it's your course. You need to, take it on and do it. It's important that we come together. So I want to say thank you. Yes, it's just 10, 15 minutes, but it's okay. Thank you so much for giving us your time. We appreciate you. That's Bayo Olaoye, a broadcast journalist here in Suk News Television. I want to especially thank everybody. Thank you for being part of Across Borders. And I want to say you should lend your voice. It is very important. A day like this is a special day. And you and I, our inputs, our impact is very what? It's very important.